One of the things you're trying to develop in an interview, if you move forward, particularly with a hire, is you're trying to develop the concept of informed commitment. And what that means is you want them to understand what they're committing to and for the strength of that commitment to be significant. So, what I mean by that with a candidate is they should understand the challenges of the role, the difficult decisions they're going to need to make, and the outcomes they need to produce. And they need to be committed to understanding those outcomes. This is why generic job descriptions and interviewers and hiring authorities who don't understand the particular nuances of a role that they're interviewing for is dangerous, because their ability to develop informed commitment with a candidate is very low. And likewise, with the hiring authorities, they need to understand the level of informed commitment required to help a candidate be successful in the role. And what that means is a lot of hiring authorities evaluate the candidate from a frame of mind that says, is this candidate good enough for us? And I would propose a reframe of, am I a good enough leader to help this candidate be successful navigating the, excuse me, fighting a cold here, navigating the challenges of this role? And do they have sufficient emotional intelligence, experience, intellectual capacity, and character to use the company processes, the leadership, my support to be successful solving these challenges? And the higher our resolution is that we're thinking through each one of these factors, evaluating the candidate, evaluating the job, the challenges of the job, the more informed commitment we can develop as leaders, that when we hire somebody, we know that we are reasonable to be committed to the success of this candidate. And why is this important? Too often as leaders, we hire people who we think are good enough to do the job. They're a great hire, so to speak. And we're not thinking through the level of commitment that we're going to need to invest in supporting that hire. And because of that, when our support is required, sometimes we're shocked by this and we start relitigating the quality of the hiring decision. We relitigate in our minds the quality of the fit. And instead of getting busy serving the candidate and doing the work that we should have known that we were going to need to do, we are questioning ourselves. And that questioning can come across to the candidate as a lack of confidence, micromanagement, etc. Not necessarily the kind of positive support that they're going to need. And since you are the hiring authority and you control the interview process, you control the job, you control the environment, 80% of the hiring success responsibility is on you. You have by far the most amount of control. And so if you're thinking in as low resolution as, is this candidate good enough for us or good enough for the job, you're missing out on the levers that you're going to need to really understand about where are they strong, where are they weak, what is this job going to require of them, and where do I need to make up the differences? Because in an ideal world, every hire that I make as a hiring authority, I'm fully accountable for, and is 100% successful because I have gauged the level of risk and reward and investment necessary on each hire to make it successful. And I can tell you, as a professional recruiter who's been doing this for 15 years and somebody who has repped this problem in my own firm, I don't have it all figured out. This is a hard problem. Understanding people quickly, sometimes things that they don't necessarily know about themselves, is hard. And evaluating their judgment and evaluating their strengths and weaknesses, particularly through the lens of interviewing, where people are not often transparent and honest naturally. And it can be difficult to create that environment, for anyone. That's challenging. But nonetheless, if you are going to improve as a hiring authority, you're going to increase the probability of your win, your good hire rate. It's by having a very high resolution perspective on the fit of the person with the organization and with your leadership style, the type of problems you need them to solve, and thinking on that as on a per problem basis. What do I mean by that? Don't just hire for another PM or another superintendent. You're hiring for a specific leader relationship. You're hiring for a specific project. You're hiring for a specific type of judgment. And the higher resolution you can think, the higher resolution you can interview, you can use discernment and onboard to, train to, etc. So just some thoughts from somebody who spends a fair bit of time thinking about this problem. Hope this is helpful to you. And I'd be interested in what you think. If you got any questions, I'd love to see them in the comments. Thanks.